Hello everyone, thanks for joining. So today I'd like to talk to you about study I'm doing that focuses on the merged tones in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, a recent tonal innovation in this language, and why the same kind of tonal behavior is absent in three other closely related Thai languages, while similar structural properties seem to exist in these varieties. So the results aim to deepen our understanding of tone change by tackling the actuation puzzle. That is, why a possible change occurs in one language but not in other languages sharing similar conditions. Let's begin with some preliminary information. In this study, Xishuangbanna Tai Lue refers to Tai Lue spoken in Xishuangbanna Prefecture, southwestern China. This region is considered as the historical homeland of the Tai Lue. It is also in this area that lives the largest Tai Lue community. Lambang Tai Lue refers to Tai Lue spoken in Lambang province, northern Thailand. And Northern Thai refers to Northern Thai spoken in Chiang Mai, and Central Thai refers to Central Thai spoken in Bangkok. These four varieties all belong to the Southwestern Thai branch of the Kra-Dai language family. Maps 1 and 2 help you to locate roughly the regions of Xishuangbanna and Chiang Mai, Bangkok, and Lambang. So when I'm talking about tonal innovation in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, it consists of creation of 6 non-underlying contours in this language. This language has 6 lexical tones, also referred as underlying tones since they are the same in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, and 6 recently uncovered contours. These contours mainly appear in the following morphosyntactic contexts. The first is when mark combines with another morpheme to form a compound noun. For example, tamarind can be said makhan, mhan, or han, and the non-underlying contour is in orange. The second context is when the negative vowel modifies another morpheme. For example, not to see can be said han, mhan, or han. And so in each of these contexts, we have 3 patterns of tonal and segmental variations. Table 1 illustrates them. You can see that no underlying contours are highlighted in orange. No underlying contours are attested among monosyllabic structures, and underlying tones are attested among disyllabic and sesquisyllabic patterns. An important feature shared by context 1 and 2, context A and B, is the presence of the syllabic nasal m, as you can see in the column highlighted in yellow. So both mark and bao can be reduced to the syllabic nasal m in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue. Given the tonal distribution as well as the differences in syllabic structure of these 3 patterns, we suggest that the C non-underlying contours are created through 2 different operations. The first being the syllabic reduction of ma or bao into the syllabic nasal. So ma mong becomes mong, bao han becomes mohan. And then we have a tonal fusion triggered by the segmental but not tonal deletion of the syllabic nasal m. Once this segment is deleted, the tone carried by it remains and fuses with that of the following syllable. creating a new contour. So mo becomes mo, han becomes han. So that's why I'm calling these non-underlying contours merged contours. This set of tonal and segmental variations demonstrate that in this language, a tone is a relatively stable and autonomous unit, because when it is deleted, when its original bearing unit is deleted, this tone will resist to deletion and fuses with the following segment, affecting the tonal realization thereof. So this kind of behaviors is well known as tonal stability. Crucially, in the monosyllabic pattern, the morpheme of negation becomes a purely tonal, showing that a merged contour can be a grammatical device, allowing Tai Lue speakers to mark the polarity via a single tonal change. So here, not look for versus look for is marked by a tonal change alone. The same goes for not to have versus to have. The marking of negation via pure tonal change is productive in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue because it can be applied to any morpheme that the negator vowel can modify, such as a verb, as you can see in 1a and 1b, an adjective, or an auxiliary. Cross-linguistically, tonal stability is quite common in African languages, but it is a rare or still under-described phenomenon among Kra-Dai languages. I am only aware of one other language of this family, namely Tai Pake, in which stability is observed in questions. Let's give a quick look at Tai Pake data. So in this language, a polar question usually ends with the particle no, as you can see in 2a, and the speakers can also ask a question without adding this particle. It is in this context that the questioning tone appears and has a falling contour in example 2b. So according to Mori, because the appearance of the questioning tone is conditioned by the absence of the question particle, so this questioning tone may have arisen from the fusion between the tone preceding the question particle and that of the question particle. Because existing studies only report two type varieties in which tonal stability seems to exist, and the syllabic nasal m, this very crucial feature in the creation of merged tones in Tai Lue is attested in other type varieties. So I think it is relevant to investigate whether the tonal stability and tonal fusion exists in these varieties that have gone untasted until now. So to this end, we compare Xishuangbanna Tai Lue with Lanban Tai Lue and Northern Tai as well as Central Tai. The contexts to be considered are identical to those of Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, that is, food compound nouns whose first component is derived from the proto-Tai mark, as well as negative sentences in which the negator is derived from the proto-Tai bao or mi. So let's give a quick look at the data collection procedure and participant. Data from Lanban Tai Lue, Northern Tai, and Central Tai were collected last year. Northern and Central Tai participants were recorded in Academia Sinica with professional equipment, and data from Lamban Tai Lue were collected remotely via Zoom. The current findings on Lamban Tai Lue, Northern Tai, and Central Tai are aggregated from 6 native speakers of each language, 2 speakers per language. Here you have some sociolinguistic information of speakers consulted in this study. So the data collection was proceeded as follows. We have 3 elicitation tasks, and for each language studies, the transcription and classification of the lexical tones were carefully checked with at least 1 consultant. Let's look at the results. So Lamban Tai Lue has 5 lexical tones, Northern Tai has 6, and Central Tai has 5. Table 3 and Table 4 present respectively how consultants of these 4 type varieties express food compound nouns with the etymon mark and negative sentences with etymon bao and mi. So it is impossible to always have the same examples from each language to another, but what matters is that all lexical tones of each language are represented, and the lexical tone placed of the examples placed in the same row have all derived from the same prototype tone. So as you can see, the tonal stability and tonal fusion observed in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue are absent in the 3 other varieties. This is clearly due to the absence of extreme reduction of the unstressed presyllable in these 2 contexts. And particular interest is given to Lamban Tai Lue because of its highest degree of similarity with Xishuangbanna Tai Lue. Because whereas the presyllable in Northern and Central Tai consists of a consonant followed by a vowel or schwa, its equivalent in Lamban Tai Lue is always a syllabic nasal, the syllabic nasal me. This form, this syllabic nasal is precisely the form to which the bao and ma in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue can be reduced to. From a point of view of word stress, although these 4 type varieties all have an iambic rhythm, and because the presyllable in these varieties is reduced and unstressed, this reduction is optimized for Lamban Tai Lue and Xishuangbanna Tai Lue because the presyllable me is just a consonant without a schwa or a vowel. However, despite the structural similarities shared by Xishuangbanna Tai Lue and Lamban Tai Lue, radical syllabic reduction only occurs in the former but not the later. In my opinion, the different paths of change undertaken by these 2 varieties can be explained by language contact. More specifically, at least in the morphosyntactic context studied, significant reduction of the presyllable is a prominent feature of Tai Lue, as shown by the conservation of the syllabic nasal me in Lamban Tai Lue, even if this variety is spoken by displaced Tai Lue people whose ancestors began to settle in northern Thailand as long as 400 years ago, coming from the Jinghong city in Xishuangbanna. Lamban Tai Lue has been in close contact with Northern Tai and Central Tai, the former being the lingua franca of Northern Thailand, the latter being the national language of Thailand. And like Tai Lue, Northern and Central Thai are iambic and have sesquid syllables, as shown in Table 3 and 4. Such similarity in word shape would be the major force preventing the presyllable m from radical phonetic reduction in Lamban Tai Lue. And this hypothesis can also be supported by the answer of a consultant saying that the syllabic nasal should not be deleted and corresponds to ma or mai of Central Thai. As to Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, this language has come into intensive contact with Mandarin Chinese from 1920s. And the Mandarin Chinese dialect spoken in Yunnan is the lingua franca of the region, and the standard Mandarin is the national language of China. In today's Xishuangbanna, it is extremely difficult, if not impossible, to find Tai Lue who speak neither Southwestern Mandarin nor Standard Mandarin. So in any case, whether in Southwestern Mandarin or Standard Mandarin, the rhythm is trochaic, and there are no sesquid syllables. So loss of the presyllable m is possible in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue because the dominant languages with which Xishuangbanna Tai Lue is in close contact are trochaic. Finally, language contact may also explain why the syllabic nasal m observed in the 60s disappeared in the speech of my Northern Thai consultant. They told me that significant syllabic reduction like this is no longer fashionable, even among their parents' generation, because according to the rules of Central Thai, this kind of syllabic reduction is to avoid it. To conclude, as pointed out by Brunel and Peter Yabon, phonetic change follows general cross-linguistic tendencies that are defined by articulatory and perceptual constraints, such as unstressed syllable reduction in our case, stressed syllable lengthening, and word final lengthening. But it can be blocked or fostered by sociolinguistic factors or the functional necessity of preserving contrast. This view is supported by the findings of the current study. Therefore, it is necessary to consider both structural factors and language contact in order to fruitfully examine the reasons why merged tones arose in Xishuangbanna Tai Lue, but not in the other three Thai varieties. Thank you.